social media. Why? It's already lies. Nolan, I'm so sorry. Why you scrub your social media? Why? Oh, it's already lies. Just tell us what really happened to Nolan. How did he get in that water? Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. Why the hell they so silent? If you know you didn't do it, and if you can prove it, just say it out loud. Oh, 18 years young, football dreams in his hands, out on Horn Island with the so-called friends. Boat trip for the 4th, celebrating life, but he never made it back, left in the night. Mama posted, calling for help on the net, 2 days searching, heart full of pain. Now the body found, but the story don't add up. Phone left behind, strong swimmer. What the fuck, something just not right. The silence deafening, scrubbing timelines, deleting, no confessing. Nolan Wells, copper spirit shining bright. Most High knows the truth in the pale moonlight. Family grieving, but they standing tall. Been crump on the case, demanding justice for y'all. Why you scrub your social media? Why? Oh, it's already lies. Just tell us what really happened to Nolan. How did he get in that water? Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. Why the hell they so silent? If you know you didn't do it, and if you can prove it, just say it out loud. Oh, Nolan's Wells family, please excuse me. I know you're grieving, but good God, this don't make sense to me. Baby in the water, how he end up there alone. Friends came back without him, stories changing on the phone. Independent autopsy coming, truth gon' rise. Toxicology, deleted messages, no more lies. Mississippi Delta ancestors watching close. We walk together, can't let another young king ghost. Them folks ain't kinfolk, hold yourself accountable. If it's foul play, speak now, make it audible. Peace be still in the storm, but justice first for Nolan. For the family, excuse my burst. Oh, Nolan, I'm so sorry. Your light still shines. My God bless you, may he protect you. Justice for your son, your baby. Something just not right. Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. The Most High sees it all, no hiding in the dark. Hell no, we demanding answers while you scrub your social media. Oh, it's already lies. Just tell us what really happened to Nolan. How did he get in that water? Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. Why the hell they so silent? If you know you didn't do it, and if you can prove it, just say it out loud. Oh, Nolan, I'm so sorry. Justice for Nolan. We all we got, ancestors never left. Mississippi, stand up. Ooh, peace be still. Truth first, Nolan Wells, your story ain't over. Justice for Nolan.
Right, so let's get ready to get into it. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. Okay, so with that all being said, everybody hit that like button, like, share, subscribe. Moderators, watch out for trolls, and some of the trolls look like you, so please pay attention to what they're saying, not just to their profile pics. Okay, with that all being said, let's see who's in here. Truth Brown, hello, beloved. Shout out to Truth Brown for that amazing music we just listened to. Buckhorst DC, Greta, Jerron is here. All right, Leon 57, Beige Fox, Pearly. All right, Anika is here. Okay, and Noto Bot Brittany is here. Says, I don't care about Ben Crump's motives if he gets the family justice. Exactly. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Gregory, 504 Nolan, Leon, Miss Lucille, Love Christy, Emperor Rex. All right, let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Thank you in advance. I see you, Nalan G. Okay, Sheila is here. Let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes, and then we'll get started. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right. So that have been said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. All right. Haki says Ben Crump is only in this for the publicity and a check. Look at all the cases he's taken over the years. How many actually resulted in actual justice for Black people? None. It's all about the money. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know if you know this or not. Big ups to you, Queen. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you and your kind words. Okay, I don't know if you know this or not, but Benjamin Crump is a civil rights attorney. Okay, civil rights attorneys don't get justice. Defense attorneys do. Okay, defense attorneys get justice. For anyone who's confused and don't know about the law but want to speak on it, defense attorneys are who you hire to get justice. Okay, Benjamin Crump is a civil rights attorney, so he fights for for monetization for people who have had their civil rights violated. Okay, that's what he does. He files lawsuits and they settle the lawsuits. Now, in this case, with Nolan's family, they have not filed a lawsuit. They may file one, but Nolan's family has another attorney for that. Okay, and that attorney, I believe, is Caucasian. So that all being said, that's their attorney in case they're going to sue. I don't know if they're going to sue, but they clearly, supposedly, from what I have heard, have a whole nother attorney. Okay, Benjamin Crump is bringing light to the case, and that's what he's doing. And then some people have asked, why is it all over the media? Well, it needs to be all over the media. It needs to be all of the media. And if you ask me, when Carmelo was going through his trial or prior to, his parents should have also been all over the media telling their story, telling his story. Because you see, when they didn't do that, legacy media, the lamestream media, they controlled the narrative. And they put out the information they wanted to put out to demonize and vilify Carmelo while they made Austin look like an angel. But now we can see, thanks to Mike Howard spilling all the tea, that in fact, Austin was the one that was nefarious. And Carmelo is, in fact, the angel who needs to be out of prison and should never have been there. Okay? Should never have been there. All right. So that all been said, it's a whole lot of people talking greasy about these pocket watchers. It's a whole lot of people talking greasy about Ben Crump and Nolan's family. Here's the thing. If you're Black, why are you talking trash about Black people? Now, Nolan's mother may be biracial, but she is still classified as Black. And then they have people lying, saying that she doesn't identify as Black. Yes, she does. Now, just because she had a Filipino flag, that's part of her heritage. Okay, I'm sorry. Somebody make it all make sense. Okay, that's part of her heritage. What's wrong with accepting both parts of your heritage? I find it interesting. Okay, and some of these people who are talking all this big tough talk, like I heard somebody last night Michi was going in on his mom, calling her the B word, being so totally disrespectful. And I was really shocked to hear it because Michi herself is biracial and she also is supposed to be pro-black. Now, I get it if she thinks that his family are raccoons, maybe, and she doesn't like that the fact that they said they don't see color. But I thought she might have actually not been so hard on raccoons since Tommy Sotomayor is a whole raccoon and she was dating him. So you're pro-black, but you date raccoons. I'm sorry, how do you have room to talk about Nolan's parents? That's what I'd like to know. Further, isn't she the same person who told us when that black guy got killed in Wolf, Texas a few years ago? His name was Jonathan Price. He loves white women, was dating and was actually protecting a white woman when he lost his life to the police officer. And some black people didn't want to protest or speak out for him to get justice because of things that he supposedly wrote on social media, dragging black women. But wasn't it Michi who told us that we still need to defend him regardless? Okay, because we don't want white people to be able to get off for doing these things. So I'm just confused as to why she's going in so hard in the paint on Nolan's mom, but she didn't have that same energy or smoke for Tommy Sotomayor or Jonathan Price. That's just what I'm curious about. But also, I'd like to say, as to the pocket watchers, well, you may be right about Ben Crump wanting to sue, but he hasn't sued yet. And also, in case you missed it, Ben Crump has some of his lawyers, at least one of his lawyers from his firm, working pro bono, which means free, on Carmelo Anthony's appeal process. Okay, so for people who want to say he's all about the money and who want to say that he never gets us justice, well, you don't go to a civil rights attorney for justice. You go for them when you want publicity brought to your case or when you're seeking civil monetization for your civil rights being violated in some way. That's how that goes. Okay, now let's continue. Whole lot of misinformation being spread. I told you the devils are trying to muddy the waters. Okay, I told you how they're trying to muddy the water. So let's get into some of the things they're doing. So they're posting a whole bunch of lies. Okay, now listen to this. Listen to this. They say the horrifying secret behind the death of Nolan Xavier Wells. Friends called him the black guy or Jigger with an N. Then Nolan Wells' body surfaced off of Horn Island. Diaries reveal a horrifying truth. The diary entries of the 18-year-old black man recently found have shocked the nation. Brutally bullied by his racially prejudiced friends, he wrote, "I don't want to live anymore," just days before his body was discovered on the Horn Island coastline. Was this truly just an accident or a hidden tragedy? Y'all hear this bull crap? This is all lies and BS. And this is what the devils are doing. Now I'm going to tell you why they would come up with that narrative. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. And here's the thing. Let me just say this before I get into the rest of it. The people that are saying all of this crazy stuff, black people, you sound like raccoons. You sound like MAGA, because these are the exact same things that MAGA is saying. And then to be sitting up here trying to discourage black folk from contributing to this young man's family is absolutely low down and dirty, especially when you had black people going to a website called the Patriot, whatever it was, which was clearly run by racist MAGA minions, and having them to purchase supplies from there as if that was going to help them. Okay, I find it all very interesting. Okay, I find it all very interesting indeed. Okay, but anyway, let's go to this post that will give you some insight as to why this person who made that false post trying to muddy the waters with lies and BS, acting as though that actually was in Nolan's diary. You know why they said that? I'm so glad you asked. Because a few years ago, there was a little white girl who took her own life. But, well, we'll just get into it. I'm going to share my screen. Matter of fact, I'll just read it to you. Now, listen to this. There is this woman that actually, hold on. Hold on, beloveds. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this for yourselves. I don't want anyone to think ever that the queen is painting narratives. All right? See, here's my thing. I'm for my people. And even if my people do something that I don't approve of, what I'm not ever going to do is spew wanton supremacist MAGA minion talking points. Whatever MAGA minions are saying, I'm going to say the opposite. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be saying the same things about Black people, whether they're biracial, full on Black, or whatever. I'm never going to say anything about Black people that is the same talking points as wanton supremacist MAGA minions, nor would I ever, for the record, date a raccoon who doesn't even like Black women. Okay, please pay attention. All right, and who will spill all of the tea and tell all of your business and how they broke your back or whatever he said. Okay, that could never be the queen. Now, let's continue. So I just want, and this is a post by a white woman. I want you all to pay attention to what she says here. Okay. I just want to interject my 2 cents here about something related to the Nolan Xavier Wells situation here in Ocean Springs. Okay. Note for my Facebook friends who aren't local, since this has now spread to the national news. Okay. This happened in my hometown where I've lived for 30 years. Nolan attended the same schools as all 3 of my boys. I know this town and its people very well. I am not going to theorize what did or didn't happen to Nolan. No, none of us knows. And there have now been approximately 11 quadrillion posts from people giving their opinions. All the conspiracy theories don't help matters, so I'm not promoting any. Nope. This post is just to point out something that so far I have not seen anyone around here saying. This is not about what happened to Nolan. It's about this town and what's happening among us. Please pay attention. Okay, please pay attention. Just a few short years ago, we lost another teenager too soon here in Ocean Springs, Aubrey Wyatt. Aubrey was a beautiful girl who ended her own life. It rocked this entire town. Like with Nolan, it made it to the national news. You see, that's why that person who made that false post that I just read to you, that's why they tried to say Nolan did that to himself, because of this story here. Like with Nolan, there was a group of other kids here in town who were connected to the case. There were questions about culpability because Aubrey had allegedly been bullied. Now, some of the kids in the Wyatt case had powerful parents that some believed were able to shield them from accountability. See the similarities? Initial investigations found no reason to charge them. So Aubrey's mom lawyered up, raised money for legal fees, did interviews, did all the same things that Nolan's parents are doing. I just want you all to pay attention because this is going somewhere. Now, the case went national. People held fundraisers. A girl wrote a song about it and performed it on American Idol, just like the song I just played for Nolan that was written by Truth Brown. Now, people held fundraisers. Now, social media groups formed and screamed for justice for Aubrey. There were demonstrations, yard signs for Aubrey. And here at home, I saw almost total support for this. This town was out in full force with torches and pitchforks to see Heather Wyatt get justice. Post with updates about Aubrey's case, not for Aubrey's case to go. For Aubrey's case got no pushback, okay, that I ever saw. No complaints that money was being raised to fund her case. See, they didn't say anything about Aubrey's case. That's what they didn't do, okay? They didn't say anything about her raising money. See, here's the problem. Let me just tell you all something. We're all entitled to our own opinions, but you should never be on the same side as wanton supremacy. Now, Haki says Ben Crump didn't make this case get the publicity it has. The Black community did. The same Black community, they didn't want Nolan to be around. Well, here's the thing, beloved. What makes you think they didn't want Nolan to be around the Black community? I'm going to show you something in just a second to let you see that you're absolutely uninformed or misinformed or possibly both. You don't know what you're talking about. And Benjamin Crump did get publicity for the case. Now, there was already some publicity, but what he has done, he's gotten it on these big news platforms. He's gotten Colin Kaepernick to help pay for the independent autopsy. That's something that wouldn't have been done without the help of Ben Crump. And let's not even talk about Ben Crump as it pertains to Nolan's case. Did you not hear that I said Ben Crump sent one of his attorneys to go help with Carmelo Anthony's pro bono case? Did you not hear that? Now you can sit there and continue, Haki, whatever your name is, beloved. You can continue to think that that's your opinion. Okay, I really don't even know why you're in my chat if that's how you feel. Hold on. Now, with that all being said, I think I showed you all a video just the other day with Nolan's mom at the house with a bunch of Nolan's friends. And as we clearly can see, they were all Black. There was only one white person there. So any people that foolishly think that Nolan didn't hang around Black people is just asinine. And they're just talking about what they heard and not what they know. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're talking about what they've heard and not what they know. Nolan had just as many Black friends, if not more, than white friends. He hung out with them on separate occasions sometimes and sometimes all together. So I just sent that video to my email and I'll be showing it shortly. Okay. Now, let me continue. Let me continue. So goes on to say, here at home, I saw almost total support for this. The town was out in full force with torches and pitchforks to see Heather Wyatt get justice. Okay, hold on. Did I get okay? Yeah, to see her get justice. Now, posting updates about Aubrey's case got no pushback that I ever saw. No complaints that money was being raised to fund her case. No gripping that the media attention would make Ocean Springs look bad. People saw a grieving parent doing everything to seek answers and, if warranted, justice for their child. So here in this town that claims it's colorblind, why are so many reacting to the Nolan case completely differently? So many ready to instantly exonerate the kids who were involved, expecting parents to take the initial investigation at face value and just simply move on, belittling a grieving family for raising to support a proper investigation. Now, here's what I want you all to listen to. All of this stuff this woman is saying, she's talking about racist white people that are doing this. But this is what I have heard some Black people, including Michi X, talking about, saying the same talking points as MAGA. Wow. I mean, I know she's half white, but So complaining about showboating. How are these cases really that different, aside from the race of the victims and their families? Folks seem to be more angry that Ben Crump and Al Sharpton are now involved than they are that a young man's life was lost. I am so very tired of hearing, why do they have to make it about race? That's another thing. Michi said that Nolan's mom played the race card. Now, for any Black person or half Black person to say that another Black or half Black person is playing the race card is very interesting to me, because that's exactly what the wanton supremacists say. You all need to really be paying attention, okay? When people are talking pro-Black and saying the same things as MAGA at the same time or out of the other side of their mouth, please tell me how pro-Black they really are. Now, I'm going to continue. I promise you that there isn't a white parent in this town who wouldn't utilize every connection and resource that they could find to fight for their own child if need be. They certainly had no problem with it when another grieving parent was white in a high-profile case. See, it's all about race for them, but they want to act like we're the ones that make everything about race. She says, I don't know what happened to Aubrey, and I don't know what happened to Nolan, but I empathize with the parents in both cases. Both deserve to have proper investigations and answers. And the people in this town need to stop centering their own butthurt white feelings. Show up and support grieving parents the same way regardless. Then it won't be about race. Exactly. Exactly. And here's the thing. Let me just tell you all something. You see, I'm of the mindset that when things happen nefarious to people's children, no matter what race those children are, we should still show empathy. Okay, we should still show empathy. If you all remember, I had the woman on here, okay, whose son he took himself out because of that sex teen. Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and say it, sexting. Okay, he was being blackmailed and extorted by 4 Nigerians. Okay, and they were extradited and brought here to be tried and convicted. But I brought that lady on here and interviewed her because the story was very touching, and it was very sad. And also I've covered stories about many children being bullied. Okay, black, white, and other. Okay, children are innocent, and some children, even if you think they should know better, if they're teenagers or whatever, children go by what they're taught or what they are around. And sometimes it's not always their parents, sometimes it's just things they pick up on the way. I mean, we can tell our children things, but they don't always do what we say, sadly. Okay, now that being said, let's talk about the nefarious FBI, because here's why the FBI really went down to Ocean Springs and got involved. And I assure you, it wasn't to help out in this case. Okay, this is Trump's FBI, so please pay attention. FBI investigating threats made in connection to Nolan Wells' death. You see, they came down there to help MAGA. They came down there to help MAGA. Didn't I tell you all days ago that in fact, Trump's FBI is not going to be doing anything to help with this case, that they're absolutely nefarious, that they cannot be trusted, specifically as long as they're run by Small Change Patel. Okay? And I also told you that these people who some people are looking at with suspicion, that now they're trying to play the victim. Didn't I tell you all that when Judge Ashley Cole said that people were threatening her children? And I'm like, who's threatening your children? Where's the proof? Because you can say anything to try and play the victim. And let's not forget what I told you all about Darvo last night. Okay? So as questions continue to swirl around Nolan Wells' death following a 4th of July party in Mississippi, the FBI says they're assisting with the investigation and are working to address threats made against individuals connected to the case. So in a statement obtained by NBC affiliate WLBT, the FBI's Jackson office said that the Jackson County Sheriff's Office in Mississippi continues to lead the investigation into the 18-year-old student's death. Okay, though their agency has assisted with certain aspects of the investigation in which federal tools and partnerships proved valuable. They say from day one, we have been supporting Jackson County as they've worked to gather information and find answers for the Wells family and the community. The FBI will remain ready to assist JCSO investigators as they request our support, particularly when federal resources may expand their capacity to provide clarity and peace of mind for Nolan's loved ones. Now, the federal agency also shared that they've been working to address interstate threats that were received by individuals related to this matter. People has reached out to FBI's Jackson office for additional comments. Now, though the nature of the threats and who exactly has been impacted by them remains unclear. Okay, they say Trayston Shepard, a high school friend of Wells, previously said that he and his friends had received threats online. We're all young adults, and we're still learning this whole adult/life thing, Shepard says, who declined to appear on camera while speaking to ABC News' Aaron Katersky in an interview that aired on Good Morning America, saying, "We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it." Now, other community members involved Ashley Cole, a local judge whose son was with Wells on the holiday. Okay, it said she deleted their social media pages for the same reason. Here's the thing. They deleted their social media pages July the 5th. Nolan's body was found on the 6th. So you mean to tell me they were getting threats that quick? I mean, he literally just went missing on the day before, and so they were already receiving threats from whom? And how are these people getting in touch with them? I just have several questions, but let's continue. And so anyway, much remains unknown about Wells' final hours, and his parents, Christine and Elmer Wansley, have repeatedly expressed doubt over one potential explanation, that their son voluntarily separated from his friends while at a party on Horn Island and left his phone behind on a boat and later died. Although law enforcement have said they haven't found signs of foul play, I think Wells could have drowned. According to his mom and dad, something more nefarious could have potentially taken place. And as it stands, few details have been confirmed about either the official investigation or the parallel investigation being conducted by Wells, by Wells's family, and results of both the official and independent autopsy remain pending. After meeting with Jackson County District Attorney on Wednesday, July the 15th, Attorney Ben Crump, who is representing Wells' parents, said that once the sheriff's office completes its investigation, the case will be presented to a grand jury. The hope is that When this is presented to a grand jury, all relevant witnesses and evidence will be presented to them so that we can have a fair and impartial investigation. Now, the funeral service for the student athletes will be held at Center Point Church in Ocean Springs, Mississippi on Monday, July the 20th. And that's another thing too. Some people were actually criticizing Nolan's mother because she wants to have a celebration of life where they're going to have like a party rather than just having a regular funeral. And to that, I say this. If your child dies, gets killed, or anything should happen to your child, God forbid, then you can have the funeral you want. But if these people want to have a party, that's their business. I mean, I don't know who some of these people think they are. You know, just because people don't do the same things you do or don't think the same way you think, you don't have to go in on them because everyone's entitled to their opinion. Okay, last I checked. But some people think their opinion is supposed to trump everyone else's, I guess. I mean, please make it all make sense. So now that we know why the FBI is really down there, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? So this is why they're actually down there. To look out for the thugs that left Nolan there. Now, here's the thing. We don't know if they had anything to do with Nolan's death or not because the information is still coming in. But the bottom line is we've seen enough of these situations that have happened time and time again to at least be suspicious, to at least want a thorough investigation conducted. And at the end of the day, whether Nolan was black, half black, Filipino, whatever, he's a young person who lost his life, and we still need to find out what happened. Okay, that's what we need to do. Okay, that's right. Bianca said FBI is not going to do anything. Of course they're not, honey. Not for black folk anyway. I would never believe it. Okay, I would absolutely never believe it. Okay, so now with that all being said, let me go to this clip that I've already shown you all, just so y'all can see that Nolan had black friends. Like, I don't know where all this is coming from, why I even have to go through all of this. Okay. Says right here, I have been loving having Nolan's friends over. Thank you so much, kiddos. And then here's the thing. I even heard some a black person talking trash about this. Okay, so why would she have kids at her house? They're Nolan's friends. When my friend Sonia died when I was in the 10th grade, her mother invited us to her house. You see, when the children are gone, your children that you love and cherish, when they're gone, sometimes being around their friends who actually loved and cared them and shared things with them might make the parent feel better. Okay, I'm sorry if some people can't grasp that. And it's so low down for people to not have empathy and sympathy, to literally sit here and call this woman bitchs. I mean, if you don't agree with what her and her husband are doing, that's fine. But why do you have to use such foul language and be so disrespectful? But none of that smoke for Tommy Sotomayor. I find it absolutely nefarious. None of that smoke for him after all the low down stuff he has said about black people, black women specifically, including her. When we were on Fly Nubian Queen, okay, or when she was on there, because I wasn't on there at the time. But I just find it all interesting. It's really some sick stuff, in my opinion. Now, I really don't give a damn who's mad, because what are you going to do about it? I cut the audio off because they're playing music, but as you can see, those are all his black friends. Okay, not all of them, but there's some, and then there's only one white person there. So he did have black friends, okay? His grandfather is black. Like I told you all, I follow his grandfather on social media, and that is Christine's father. Okay, and they do say you are what your father is, right? Yeah, that is what they say. That's exactly what they say. But anyway, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
For learning more about the Independence Day boat trip Nolan Wells and his friends took to Mississippi's Horn Island. As part of a records request to the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, NBC News obtained GPS information for the boat. The records show it departed from a private boat launch at 9:56 a.m., arriving at the island by 11:14 and staying there until 4:30 p.m. An audio of a call around that time to a private towing company obtained from the same records request, the caller explains a mechanical issue with the boat.
We're sinking. Can you all please come?
The towing company dispatched reaching out to a local captain for help.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island, and he's saying the boat is sinking. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
Records then show the boat being towed slowly from about 4:31 until 5:25 before getting back to normal speed. The boat then returned to its original location at 5:44 without Nolan Wells. Melissa Miller was at Horn Island on the 4th. She says there were hundreds of boaters there for the holiday.
It's just a big community. Everyone goes out there and, has a good time.
She also says it's normal to leave cell phones on boats and that currents at the northwest corner of the island can be treacherous.
Like you can go out there just innocently and next thing you know, the water's, like kind of sucking you in, throwing you back out.
After speaking with one of the friends on the boat, Nolan's concerned mother reported him missing to police.
Please report her 8-year-old son, Nolan Wells, missing last week at 3 on Horn Island.
His body was found on July 6th. His mother struggling as she plans his funeral, posting on Facebook,
"This loss, this grief, this pain, it's different. It's insurmountable."
Now, one parent has also posted that some of Nolan's friends have been getting threatening messages. The FBI does confirm that it is investigating threats connected to this case, all while Nolan's mother is encouraging people to stay peaceful as she plans to hold his funeral next week. This morning, we're learning more about the...
Okay, all so nefarious at the end of the day. Okay. Not a bot. Brittany says, where's the call to the Coast Guard to report Nolan missing? The Coast Guard said it didn't require their assistance. I want to know why they said that. Let us hear that call. I would like to hear it too, because, for one, they changed their story. If y'all remember, they acted like they didn't receive a call, and then all of a sudden they did. They said they all of a sudden did, but they couldn't tell us who it was, but it was supposedly one of Nolan's friends, which I thought was suspicious. Okay, which I thought was very suspicious. Angel said, watch Secret Service Sam video about Wyatt's brother. I'm going to one of Secret Service Sam's videos right now. And also, me and Sam are supposed to do a video this evening. I'm not sure if we're still going to do it. I'll have to get with him after this to see. But yeah, Sam has been giving out some real good information. Shout out to him.
Sam here with some Nolan Xavier Wells updates and something that is very sus to me. Sheriff John Ledbetter and the Mississippi Department or Jackson County, they're waiting to put their autopsy report out until the independent autopsy report comes out. Why? Because theirs most likely is going to show accidental drowning, no foul play, you know it. And they don't want to have that happen, allegedly, and then have the family's independent autopsy that was paid for by Colin Cap. Shout out to Cap. I kneel for Cap. That's not Cap. Anyway, I'm digressulating, but they're scared that what'll happen is that their autopsy will be completely different than what the independent one is, which this wouldn't be the first time. Like with Kendrick Johnson, the initial autopsy said no foul play, everything was okay. And in the second autopsy, it revealed foul play. It even revealed that all of his organs had been removed, yet the first autopsy hadn't. So distrust in autopsies is nothing new. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments. Release the autopsy reports so we can get justice for Nolan Xavier Wells. Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president of the world.
All right. There's another audio that Sam put out. I don't know why I can't find it. I saw my dear sister Lisa Cabrera with it. I might have to go to her video because I was watching her video and I saw it. Here it is right here. Okay. Yeah, this is the video I'm talking about. I'm sure she won't mind if I use her video. I'll call her afterwards to let her know that I used it. Okay, so listen to this. This was an audio. I had not heard this, but Secret Service Sam posted this. And it sounds like it was possibly from a TikTok live. Okay. So I'm gonna go to this. And make sure you're following Lisa Cabrera, okay? If you're not doing so already. Here we go. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so I'm going to use an overlay here. This is it right here.
Xavier Wells update. And Nicole Everything has this amazing audio that is bizarre, to say the least. Listen to this.
We got out to the island around like 10:30. Everybody was hanging out, having a good time. And then it came time to leave. And so Wyatt was like, Nolan, get all the, like, come on, we're leaving. And Nolan was talking to that girl, Katie McCormick. And he was like, oh, I'm just going to go back. I'm going to weigh him off. Did tug on what you sent one other. But he was like, oh, I'm just going to get back with Katie. And we'll be right behind y'all. We were all in the same house, the same place. He was like, I'll be right behind y'all. Y'all go ahead without me. I'll see y'all. Like, I'm literally going to be right behind y'all. Whatever. So, Wyatt and all of them left because they were like, okay, he's going to go with Katie, whatever. Well, then everybody got back in and we were all at Anna's house and Wyatt was like, where's Nolan? He was like, is he coming with Katie? And they were like, yeah. And Warren was like, let me call him and ask where he is. Or Warren was like, I have his phone. Like, somebody call Katie and ask where he is. And then they called Katie. And that's when they found out that Nolan never went with her either. She said that Nolan never went with her. And so no one knows what happened. Like, literally no one knows what happened to him, and it's so fucking heartbreaking. Sick that people were sitting there blaming that on Eric and all them, like his child, but like best friends. Like, it's sick. And none of them would ever do that to him. And like, people are literally texting me, like threatening me and shit. It's like, it's just so upsetting. It's just so upsetting.
The idea of getting tested for autism as an adult can seem like a very daunting thing.
So a few questions. The coughing during the video, it almost seems like the girl is acting and that coughing is like, hey, bring it down, bring it down. Like they're trying to defend Wyatt, allegedly. Also, who is Ava? Also, Katie McCormick, his friend today, stated that they didn't know this girl, Katie, at all. But now it seems like they know Katie, they have her number, and it just makes no sense at all. Why would he leave without his phone and not Katie?
Two things changed in this case this week, and neither one has gotten the attention it deserves yet.
Okay, I want you all to pay attention because it sounded like she was being performative to me as well. I didn't buy that for a second, okay? I don't know how much they paid her, if in fact they did or she did it for free. But clearly, that sounds like someone trying to muddy the waters and trying to steer the direction of the investigation or public opinion, okay? That's what that sounds like to me. At the end of the day, sounds like a whole lot of BS. Okay, that's just what that sounds like, a whole lot of BS. So anywho, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now hold on, because there was, let me see what this is. Give me just a second, beloveds. Give me just a second. Okay, here's what I'm looking for right here. I thought I already had sent this. Let's see here. Hold on, I'm sending this to my email real quick. So listen, let me tell you all about this young man who died the same way, okay, under mysterious circumstances. Now, his death was ruled as, well, actually, he was missing for a while, and then his death, when they found his body, they basically tried to say that there was no evidence of foul play. And so years later, in 2021, they exhumed this young man's body. Okay, his name was, hold on. Was it Ethan Dietz? No. I'm sorry. It's Alonzo Brooks. And so this man was at a party with over 100 people. And there was like 3 black people there. And then all of a sudden there was only 1 black person there after the other 2 left. And so what happened to him was absolutely egregious. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go. And this just shows the links that they'll go to cover up these incidents. And when it's a person of color or just a black person, they really don't care. The police are not really going to do a thorough job. They're really not going to be so involved most of the time, in my experience, okay, and the reports that I have done. And you all have seen how when black people come up missing, they barely give it any sort of media attention at all, specifically for black women. Okay, so let's get into this because it says 2004 Kansas hate crime murder remains unsolved despite $100,000 reward. Maybe if they'd investigated it thoroughly like they should have in the first place, we wouldn't be sitting here right now still talking about it. Okay, please pay attention.
Only 23. He was last seen in April of 2004 in Lacine, Kansas. He lived in Gardner, about an hour away.
Hold on, beloveds. I'm trying to fix this audio real quick. Oh, goodness. Okay, there we go.
A homicide and hate crime 20 years old continues to haunt the family of the young man killed.
Alonzo Brooks was only 23. He was last seen in April of 2004 in Lacine, Kansas. He lived in Gardner, about an hour away from Lacine. His family then found his body a month later after law enforcement's efforts came up empty.
KCTV5's Betsy Webster went to Lacine for a closer look in tonight's KC Unsolved.
Alonzo Brooks came here for a party at a farmhouse along a creek.
This is the creek that runs behind it, Middle Creek. You can see that it's shallow now, but the banks are high. Ever since his family found him in this creek, they have been asking, how is it that they could find him when a law enforcement search failed? The FBI now has an answer to that question, but they still don't know who killed him.
Alonzo Brooks was the youngest of 5, always wanting to tag along with his older sisters.
Followed us everywhere, everywhere we went.
As he grew to a man of 23, he was the fun uncle to their children.
Playful, liked to joke with everybody.
Then suddenly, he was gone.
It's been 20 years, but it still hurts like it was yesterday.
His sister, Esperanza Roberts, thinks often about what could have been.
Alonzo's missed out on a lot, you know. He's missed out on having a life. We've missed out on seeing that.
Alonzo had gone to a party at this house just outside of Lacine, Kansas. It was a big party in a small town with a population just over 1,000. When Alonzo never came home, his mom called authorities. The Lynn County Sheriff's Office eventually conducted a search, then the KBI. They couldn't find him. 3 weeks later, his family organized a search in the very same place. In just under an hour, they found Alonzo's body, partially on top of a pile of brush and branches in the creek.
I think there's no way if they did an extensive search that they would have missed him.
At least 100 people were at the party, possibly more. Alonzo was one of only 3 people of color, then the only person of color as the night wore on. There were reports of a fight.
The initial interviews that were conducted had some of the partygoers talking about racial slurs being used.
Special Agent Lena Romano was assigned to the case when the FBI reopened it in 2019, 15 years after his death.
The original autopsy was that the cause of death was undetermined.
In 2020, his body was exhumed from his gravesite in Topeka. A federal medical examiner took over with the help of a forensic pathologist. They found injuries inconsistent with normal patterns of decomposition.
From that, they ruled that Alonzo's death was a homicide.
She, too, was curious how the family's search succeeded after the law enforcement search failed. She researched the rise and fall of the creek connected to rain in that time frame,
which would allow for anything that was trapped under the really large brush piles to become dislodged and rise to the surface.
So it's possible he was trapped under a brush pile when the first search took place?
Yes.
The FBI is not releasing how he died. Their focus now is finding people who attended the party. Many were underage at the time. The hope is that as adults now, they'll be more forthright.
You're older now. Your parents can't do anything to you. Tell us what happened if you know something.
Even something small, like names of people who were there.
They may assume that we already knew that, but it's a new name and another individual that we can speak to.
When the U.S. attorney reopened the case, Alonzo's father was hopeful. He's since died, but the hope is still alive.
I still feel that there are things that we can do and people we can talk to and advancements in technology that we don't even have right now that may be the key to solving all of this.
We just have faith. We have faith that eventually we're going to find out what happened and we will get some justice.
Betsy Webster, KCTV5.
May that young man rest in peace. The FBI is offering a $100,000 reward. Okay, but guess what? They're not going to get anything about anything. And then when they said that his body could have been trapped under the brush and maybe that's why the cops didn't find him, I think the cops didn't find him because they didn't look. Okay, please. The family got there and found him that quickly. Yeah, I don't think they did a good job. And here's what the FBI has on their page, okay, on their website. Here's what they have about his death on their website. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. New autopsy determines death of Alonzo Brooks was a homicide. And so the death of a Kansas man whose body was found in a creek, okay, in Lacine, Texas, in 2004 was a homicide, according to a new report by a federal forensic examiner. Now, as part of a continuing federal investigation of Alonzo Brooks's death, his body was exhumed and transported to Dover Air Force Base for examination by the Armed Forces medical examiner. The examiner's report concludes that the death was a homicide. They say, we knew that Alonzo Brooks died under very suspicious circumstances. This is what acting U.S. Attorney Dustin Slinkard said. This new examination by a team of the world's best forensic pathologists and experts establishes it was no accident. Alonzo Brooks was killed. We're now doing everything we can and will spare no resources to bring those responsible to justice. Yeah, right. The FBI's commitment to justice remains at the forefront of each and every investigation, says FBI Special Agent in Charge, Timothy Langley. Now, our reach is broad and the strength of our investigative tools are exceptional. We remain dedicated to uncovering the truth surrounding the murder of Alonzo Brooks and ensuring those responsible are held accountable for their actions. Now, the new autopsy focuses on injuries to parts of Brooks's body that the examiner concluded are inconsistent with normal patterns of decomposition. Details of the examination are being withheld for investigative purposes. In 2019, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Kansas and the FBI reopened the investigation into Brooks's death, which had been dormant for years. As part of the new investigation, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of anyone responsible for Brooks's death. In the initial investigation, a coroner in Lynn County said he was unable to determine a cause of death, and witnesses interviews failed to produce any arrest. Now, the new investigation is focused on determining whether Brooks, an African American who was 23 years old when he died, was the victim of a racially motivated killing. Brooks was last seen alive in April of 2004 during a party at a house on the outskirts of Lacine. I think I'm saying that wrong. Hold on. I know I'm saying it wrong. I'll look it up later. Anyway, he was one of only 3 African-American men at the party, which 100 or more people attended. Okay. Brooks, who lived in Gardner, Kansas, rode to the party with friends. They left before him and he wound up with no ride home. Doesn't that sound familiar? When Brooks failed to come home the next day, his family and friends contacted the Lynn County Sheriff's Department. According to reports at the time, the Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement agencies searched areas around the farmhouse, including parts of nearby Middle Creek, but did not find Alonzo. After Alonzo had been missing for almost a month, a group of his family and friends organized a search. They began on the road near the farmhouse and walked the 2 branches of Middle Creek. Now, in just under an hour, okay, they found Alonzo's body partially on top of a pile of brush and branches in the creek. Then they say anyone with information is encouraged to call the FBI. Okay, at 816-512-8200. Very sad. Very sad indeed. Like I said, condolences to this young man. He's been dead since 2004 and still no justice. Okay, still no justice. And this all has to stop. Truth Brown says, as Queen say, we have to use critical thinking skills or delete it. Okay, a barn party. No. Right. I'm sorry. That was a whole farmhouse. Anyway, very sad. Okay. Now, let's go to these next couple of videos. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Found in an hour by the family. The police didn't do any digging. They couldn't have. There's no way you're going to convince me they did.
The other day, I posted to my threads asking, where did they launch the boat? Where are their cameras? Why don't we have any surveillance? I mean, by this time, there's usually surveillance, right? We're only seeing surveillance and video of them on the island. And people started commenting. I got a lot of people, bots, getting upset about me asking questions. And then I made a video about it because I got a lot of responses on my threads. And I ended up getting people commenting and sending me messages of addresses within that group who have homes on the ocean with private boat launches. So that would mean there was no surveillance. And the reason I asked that was because of Scott Peterson. He was caught on camera. And I thought it was funny that there was no surveillance of the boys getting back from that island. And I'm not from the South. I don't know, but I know out here we have boat launches and there's video surveillance everywhere you go. So it is possible that they launched from a home and came back to a private launch. So the other day, I posted to my threads asking, where did they launch the boat?
Now, here's the thing. I would like to know that too. So you mean to tell me they didn't have any cameras out there? And I already told you all I thought it was very suspicious that they went right back to Fort Bayou the second time at around 7:19. And from there, they had the boat towed because it was taken in water. And then they took it to a private residence, which was the owner's, which would have been Wyatt's parents' house. And so what happened to it being at the judge's house? They didn't mention that, which I thought was interesting. Okay. And the judge, when she came out and spoke, Judge Ashley Cole, she never said anything as to why, or she never mentioned at all that they went back to Fort Bayou a second time. Now, why did she leave that out? I would like to know. Okay, so that part of Kansas is pronounced Lacine. I think that's what I said. I'm not sure. But anywho, let's go to this last video and then we're out of here. Now, this lady seems to think that she knows. Somebody just sent me this. I haven't watched it, but she seems to think she knows why these black youths are being found as strange fruit.
Listen, and listen closely. This is important. I know how these kids are being strung up from trees now. My ancestors came to me last night and told me what's going on. But first, let me tell you a little story. When I was a young girl in a bus station in Seattle, Washington, I was surrounded by a group of young men that were sitting there talking to me as though they were interested in me, and I just thought it was just a group of young men, although I felt uncomfortable. I stood up, I think, to go to the bathroom, and they surrounded me and literally lifted me off my feet and was carrying me to the door. If I had not have kicked and screamed, they would have taken me out of that bus station and to where unknown. I may not even be talking to you today. This is what happening to those kids. Why they're not making a scene when being dragged off to their death. It's law enforcement or it's someone pretending to be law enforcement.
Hold on, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. Okay? Now, what did I tell you all about who's doing these things? What did I tell you all about who's doing these lynchings, hangings, whatever you want to call them, back in 2020? Isn't that what I told you all? And how did I know that? How did I know that? Do you all remember? How did I know that? I told you all that it was law enforcement because I dreamt about it. I literally dreamt about it because you all know I be having prophetic dreams. But yes, I dreamt about the same thing. So there it is right there. The ancestors definitely told her that. The ancestors definitely told her that because that's the same thing they told me back in 2020. And I've been telling y'all that ever since. Okay. Deronda said you called the queen. All right. I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention. That's exactly what they're doing. And like I told you all before, what they do in some of these cases is they sit there and they're in plain clothes. Okay. They're in plain clothes most of the time and in an unmarked vehicle. And they'll call you over, being nice and sweet, acting like they need direction somewhere, just like in the case of Robert Fuller. And don't forget, Robert Fuller, I predicted that man's death. I sat there and told you all about the dream that I had, and I described that man to a T. And days later, we got the report about Robert Fuller in Palmdale, California. And he looked just like I said, dark skin with the locks. Okay? This is all crazy. This is all crazy. But let's continue.
With the approval of law enforcement. Because you are going to notice someone fighting against being drugged somewhere. Somebody's going to notice. And even if you're not trying to be helpful, you're going to pull out your phone just because everybody wants to record a scene. Even a racist wants to record a scene and they can't afford being seen on camera. These kids are being fake arrested. They're being pulled on a game. A Ted Bundy is being pulled on these kids. Either the police or someone pretending to be the police with their approval.
And let me tell you all something. When she says with their approval, pretending to be the police with their approval, let's not forget about these militia groups. Okay, these militia groups, they're down with this stuff too, and they absolutely have been deputized by law enforcement. Okay, they absolutely have. Some of these groups have been deputized by law enforcement. Okay, so please pay attention. And you see, this is why you don't have people fighting back, like she said. But also, let me just say this. If you remember Kyle Basinga, who I reported on months ago, who was found hanging from a tree, there was video footage of him having an altercation, an argument with a law enforcement officer days before. Okay, that should have given us all a clue.
Is claiming that these kids need to come down to the station and being taken away in either marked or unmarked cars.
Oh my God, do you all hear this? She literally is saying what I told you all in 2020. Isn't this crazy? Isn't this crazy? And shout out to my cousin for sending me this video because I had not even seen this.
To their deaths. This is what you need to do. Anytime that you see a young Black person, any Black person, because they target the young and they target the old, walking willingly with a group of white men that's dressed professionally, because they won't be in hoods, and calmly walking with them or in handcuffs, pull out your phone, get those faces of those men. Next, if something happens to this, another Black person, you need to target the police departments in those cities. You need to make them afraid to go to work. Literally. You need to target, because that's what's happening to our children. But somehow, because the only thing that they understand is violence, turning the other cheek is not the answer. And until you learn that, it will never stop. Charles Manson, a serial killer, said that Black people's pain tolerance is 3 times greater than anyone. I have witnessed the pain tolerance of white people. And the fear that you see from them in the movies is nothing compared to real life.
This is all nefarious. Okay, this is all crazy. Now, let me just tell you all what she's talking about when she said something about Ted Bundy. Okay, when she said they're using, like, she said something about Ted Bundy, like the tactics they're using basically is what Ted Bundy used. So that being said, Ted Bundy would use something called plaster of Paris. Okay, to get his victims. He would feign as if he were someone helpless, someone who was disabled in some way, like maybe he had a broken arm. He'd have his arm in a sling or make this cast for his arm out of plaster of Paris, right? And so he'd act as though he's trying to lift something heavy like a bicycle on top of a car or whatever. And then he would do this when he would see a woman that he wanted to target walking past. And then he would ask them sometimes, but sometimes they'd willingly volunteer. Okay, they would see him struggling or pretending to struggle, and he was an attractive man to most people back then, and so they would go over to help him. And then he'd hit him in the head, throw him in his car, and take him off somewhere and do what he wanted to do with them, and then take their lives. Okay, so that's what she's talking about. You know, people feigning or pretending they need help or some sort of assistance, even asking for directions. But it's very crazy that she said that. Now, the part where she's talking about making them afraid to go to work, I don't know what she's talking about, how we could do that, unless she's talking about protesting or something. I don't know. But at the end of the day, when you see something, you definitely should be video recording. You definitely should be video recording things that you see that may appear to be strange. There's a guy going around right now, and I've seen him doing several videos where he goes up, if he sees a black person with a group of white people, he'll go up and say, hey, my man, brother, you okay? You all right? These people not harassing you or doing anything to you, are they? He really does that. Now, I saw one person get mad and cursed him out. But usually they'll just laugh and say, yeah, I'm fine or whatever. Okay. But he's literally out here going around checking on black folk. And this is all so crazy and clearly nefarious. Now, with that all being said, let me just say this before I conclude the broadcast. DJ, the Truth TV said you saw that. Yeah. So Candy Girl said she saw it too. Okay, so here's the thing. With this whole autopsy situation, I want you all to pay attention because what they're saying is, you know, they're stalling on the autopsy, say they're waiting on the toxicology report, right? Well, like I told you all, they could have already released the autopsy without the toxicology report if they really wanted to. And here's the thing. Why are they so interested in the toxicology report? Like, I'm pretty sure they know that Nolan was not on illegal substances. He was a top tier athlete, okay? He was a top tier athlete and he was supposed to have training for D1 that Monday. Okay, that Monday, the Monday that they found his body, that day, he was supposed to start. So I'm pretty sure he wasn't on any sort of illegal substances. So it looks to me like they're stalling, like I've been telling you all for days, trying to wait for Ben Crump's independent autopsy to come out because they're not going to say the same thing. Now, if Ben Crump releases his first, which I hope that he doesn't, but if he does, all they're going to do is try to change theirs, in my opinion, because we've already gone over how nefarious that medical examiner allegedly is. Okay, how this is the same person that's been accused of embalming someone's child, a black family's child who went off with their white friends and never made it back alive. And then she embalmed the body, okay, and basically, you know, so they couldn't have anything done. Like there was no way they could have any type of getting type of results to prove that the child was killed after she did that. And for those of you who missed it, let me just go to the video. Like, up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. And then we're out of here.
A 13-year-old boy. Friends pushed him in the creek in Mississippi. Guess who was the medical examiner who covered it up? Ding, 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 ding. Stacy fucking Turner again. Crump, this is 0 for 3 for Stacy. The brother of this kid just came in my inbox. Stacy Turner told this family that they don't perform autopsies on drowning victims. So this family again had to pay out of pocket, bring their child to a different state for a private autopsy. Stacy Turner, you are public enemy number 1 in my book.
Y'all see that? That's what she supposedly told them. Okay, that they don't perform autopsies on drowning victims. Isn't that something? I find that absolutely egregious. Okay, I find that absolutely egregious. I wanted to read that post, but I clicked off of it too quickly. But anyway, that's real crazy. That's real crazy. And now we have the FBI. Now we have the FBI has gone down there to actively look into investigating, not Nolan's death, but to go down there and try to find out who's threatening these people. I can't wait for them to find out because in my opinion, no one's threatening them. No one is threatening them. Who would be threatening these rich white kids? It wouldn't be white people threatening them, would it? But it definitely isn't black people threatening them because that's just not what we do. Okay, that's just not what we do. But what the devils do is they always try to play the victim. Okay, this is what they do time and time again. And it is really so crazy that some of our people don't seem to recognize this when in fact, it's a thing that happens all the time. It's not something that's rare. And remember what I told you all on last night about Darvo. This is what they do. Deny, attack, reverse the victim and offender. Okay, that's what they do. Deny, attack, reverse the victim and offender. All right, and that was coined by psychologist Dr. Jennifer Fried. Okay, so please pay attention. They do this to change the narrative and so that everything favors them. So anyway, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives, okay? Enjoy your strong ends, not your weekends, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. And until next time, I'll talk to you all again soon. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got